Soil is an important resource. It is where the crop plants get water and nutrients from. It is a good idea to take soil samples and do soil tests to know about the nutrient levels in a field. The results of soil tests can help make critical management decisions for the next growing season.
Hi, my name is Angie and I'm an Extension Field Agronomist for Iowa State University. Today we're going to talk about the importance of soil sampling and we're going to show you how to take a soil sample. Very first thing, we need to label our bag. This is where our sample is going to go and this is what's going to get shipped to the lab for analysis. So, first thing, so we don't forget where we are, we're going to put our field. We're in field 1. Second thing we're going to write down is today's date, just so we remember when we took the samples. So we got our sample. That's all ready to go. We're going to stick all that in our back pocket, and then we're going to take a sample. We have this tool called a soil probe. And you don't need to use a soil probe. You could use a spade or a shovel, right? But the important thing we want to know about that sample is how many samples to take and how deep we should take the sample. When we soil sample for soil nutrients for crop production, we're normally taking a 6 2/3 inch sample. So that's why I have this little notch filed in my probe. So we're going to start by taking a core, not a sample, but a core. We're going to push our probe into the ground up to about that mark. We're going to carefully pull it out, and these soil conditions are really good. Sometimes it's too dry, sometimes it's too wet. We peel off all the outside stuff. If we have any organic stuff on the top, like some of the residue left behind or grass, we just kind of scrape that off just a little bit, or we can get rid of that with our foot before we took that in there. So my sample's just a tad bit short, but it'll work. I'm going to push it out with my finger, be really careful. Those are sharp. And then we're just going to dump it into our bucket, just like that. So that's just a core, and we need 10 to 15 cores to actually make up a soil sample. So in this small area, in this tilled field, we need to take 14 more cores, right? If we were thinking that this was about 2.5 acres, it's not that big, but if we were thinking we were in a field, we want to make sure we get all areas of our little field covered, or we break our field down into smaller fields called grids. And see, this soil's fluffier up here and actually rockier. So we have some extra stuff in our sample. It's the right depth. We're going to push it out, and that would be another core, right? So now we're going to do this 13 more times. So once we've got all our cores, we're going to mix them up in the bucket and crush them up with our hands, and we'd have more soil in here if we had all our cores. And make sure that these cores actually get crumbled up, because this is not the piece we want to go to the lab, because that only represents a tiny little part of one core. We're only going to send about that much to the lab, right? Not even that much, a half a teaspoon. So that's got to represent, in this case, about 5 acres. That's a tiny little bit amount of soil, considering we just sampled 5 acres, which is about 5 football fields in size. So once we get it all crumbled up, we take our bag that we labeled on the other side, we dump it in, and if you got 15 cores, it all fit. And then we're going to ship this off to the lab.